Hey gang, it's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us, and today we're talking about forging the frame. Love that, forging the frame. This is a distinction that I teach in our 8-week program called The Fetch. The Fetch. It is the follow-up course after you take the Groundswell Method Intensive. You can jump into The Fetch, which is an 8-week program designed to help you create your offers, your funnels, and your conversions so that you generate sales by the end of the 8-week program. And part of the beginning process of that is when you have offers, when you have programs that people come through, one of the very first things you need to plan for, I'm not even saying like you need to do it, because to just do it might imply that you're shooting from the hip and you do it when you think to or not. I'm saying I need you to plan for how to forge the frame with the people who start out in your program. So what does this mean? Well, actually, first of all, let's look at the breakdown here. I think sometimes what happens is, either we're too exhausted from hunting and finding new clients that by the time they come in, we're just happy to make the sale. We're like, oh, sweet. Like, let's do a discovery call. How are things going for you? That's great. Okay, well, let's work together. And then off you go and you start coaching or you work them through your program and it's all fine. But you haven't set the frame around the experience. And so what happens is people will leave sooner than later. Your retention will become a problem because you haven't forged the frame that you are going to be for who you are for them and what your service does for them, your program does for them, right? So I saw this in my agency, right? I have a marketing agency, and in the early infancy of my agency, I didn't forge the frame. I had an agency. I invited people into it. They came into it, and then they were demanding of certain things. And then they would go to lunch with their cousin who listens to podcasts, and their cousin would say, oh, I've listened to your podcast. I think you should do it this way. And they'd come back to me with some sort of peanut gallery perspective about what they thought I should be doing for their show based on what their cousin who listens to podcasts said. And I realized in that moment that I completely forgot. I didn't plan for. I completely ignored and didn't plan for how to frame what this really is. This, like, my marketing agency isn't to put fancy little animations on your video and to have you make a sale tomorrow. My marketing agency is about curating your life's work, your important work, the work and message you will share the rest of your life. That is what my marketing agency does. But I didn't forge that frame with people. So they came into the agency thinking that what they were buying was fancy animations and music in a podcast. And while that looks mechanically like what we do, it was missing the entire heart of my service and my mission. So how did I fix that? I'm like, okay, well, I have to fix that. I need people to come into the agency who want us to support them in their life's work, understanding that that's actually what we're doing is supporting them in their life's work. So how did I fix it? Well, I created a 6-week program called the Groundswell Method Intensive. If you want help with your marketing, this is where it all starts. It all starts with the Groundswell Method Intensive. And by the time you get done with those 6 weeks, not only do you have respect for me because of the contribution that I've made to you, and all graduates have this experience, which is fantastic. Thank you, graduates. You come out the other side of those 6 weeks really understanding the role marketing has in your life's work. That's the real gift. That's the real trade-off, right? You come out of that understanding how it all fits. You realize that it's not about fancy animations and music in a podcast. It is about you having consistency and conviction in the message you're here to share with the world. So that 6-week program was the thing I created to forge the frame so that when people got to the agency, they were excited to be there. You want to be there. You're happy to be there. You're like, please take my money. I love you. I love who you are for me. I love that you support me. I love that you get me and you see me. That's the power of forging the frame on the front end of anybody coming to work with you. So you may have a main offer, whatever your flagship offer is, you may have that. And know that on the front end of that, you're going to want to forge the frame before people get there. Because forging the frame has them get to your main offer excited to be with you. I don't want to work with anybody that isn't excited to work with me. Who wants that? Don't you want to work with people who love to give you their money? They're like, do you understand what I mean? Like when I say that, like there are people when I give them my money, I'm like, I am so glad I get to pay you because you see me, you get me. That's what we want for all clients when they work with us. We want clients to happily pay us because they appreciate the way we serve and support what they're up to in the world. But the way that happens is forging the frame. And if you don't have a process to forge the frame, then what happens is you either forge it or you don't on accident, right? And most of the time, you don't. When you shoot from the hip and you don't have a framework to forge the frame, then it's shooting from the hip. And most of the time, the framework doesn't get forged. I'm sorry, the framework doesn't get forged, right? You don't. So this is a big one, gang. This is a big one. This is going to be a massive impact in your retention. It's going to be a massive impact in your enjoyment of your work. Because when you show up to work and the people who are there and giving you money don't actually appreciate your perspective, that sucks. I don't enjoy that at all. That feels like work. But when people want to be with you, they enjoy collaborating with you, they love giving you their money, it doesn't feel like work. It's like a privilege. And how all of that happens is simply forging the frame. Okay? Again, I cover forging the frame in my 8-week program called The Fetch. Now, the 8-week you don't get access to the 8-week program until you come to the Groundswell Method Intensive, because the Groundswell Method Intensive is the foundation of it all. It's where you find, refine, produce, and share your message in the world. And until you can do that, we can't get to the other stuff. We can't create pipelines and funnels and systems and ad strategies and all the things that bring clients to you on demand, because the thing you're going to try to get them to the funnel with won't be convicted enough. Your message won't be dialed in enough. So if you'd like to learn how we walk you through, the distinctions that we walk you through in the Groundswell Method Intensive, you can learn those from my free course called Marketing for the Rest of Us. It is a free course that gives you the distinctions we teach in the 6-week program. So you will leave the free course with amazing perspective and mindset shifts for how the game of marketing is really played today. And it will also let you know if you want to apply for the next upcoming Groundswell Method Intensive or not. Okay? So there you have it, gang. If you're ready to do that, go to groundswellmethod.com, jump into the free course on the last page. You can apply for the next upcoming 6-week program. And until tomorrow, when we go live again, here's to you forging your frame.